You're listening to Recovery Queen Melissa Presents Tales from the Trap. I'm your host, Melissa McMillan. I'm a recovering addict, a human trafficking survivor, and yes, a human trafficking convict. I spent 20 years in and out of active addiction and living through things most couldn't imagine. This podcast is where we tell the truth about the streets, about the system, about survival, recovery, trauma, and the people who never made it out. These stories are raw, real, and sometimes hard to hear, but you know what? They matter. This is Tales from the Trap.
Hello, and we're back on Tales from the Trap. I am Melissa, your host. I am an addict in recovery, a human trafficking survivor, as well as a human trafficking convict. So let's chat for a second. We are in a different area. This is definitely Tales from the Trap because we are in the trappiest of traps right now, the basement of the trappiest of traps. So I usually film upstairs because it doesn't look like a trap. It looks like a trap down here. Let me just say that. So I don't have anything up. I can't sit up there on that wooden chair anymore, and I gotta buy a chair, and I can't fit the one I'm buying in my car. It's a whole thing. So I had a couch down here. So I was like, well, maybe I'll move the couch upstairs. I wasn't getting a couch up to the third floor by myself. I tried. Not successful. So here we are. Anyways, I needed a couch because my back hurts. Also, I'm going to have guests soon. I'm running out of shit to do for Tales from the Trap. So next is guests. I just did my first guest episode. My aunt came on. By the time this one is out, you guys will already have seen Between Psych Wards and Second Chances, where I interview my dad's sister. It's such a good episode. Let me just say that. It is such a good episode. I'm so proud of it. I also created my very own intro that isn't just Recovery Queen Melissa Presents Tales from the Trap, because that was my intro. Now I have an actual intro. It's so good too. So anyways, couple housekeeping things. I was talking about having guests. If you are an addict, if you are a survivor of anything, trauma, child abuse, sexual abuse, whatever, if you were trafficked, if you were in the game, if you were whatever, I want to hear from you. I want your stories. All I need from you to have you on my show is a summary of your story. So I have people that are in the works making me their summaries. So if anybody, it doesn't matter if we're in the same city, same country, does not matter. If you see this and you have a story, if you resonate with my story and you're like, damn, we have similar stories or whatever, please email the show. I put the email in all of the descriptions. It's very easy to find. I will put it in this one. Email the show. If you want to go on Full Circle, we'll have you on Full Circle too. But Tales from the Trap is where it's at. Anyways, so I have a whole bunch of follower questions, but I thought I would read you this new spoken word that I wrote called Tales from the First Wound. I was 17, not naive, just starving for someone to see me, to choose me, to tell me that I was more than just a body or more than a daughter who had watched herself slowly disappear in plain sight. He was older, louder, mean in a way that I took for real. He loved bomb me with rage and roses, told me I was a ride or die before I even knew what it meant. And then when he introduced me to OxyContin like it was a communion, he said, "Here, take this. It'll make everything feel better." And it did. For a while, until it didn't. It started with yelling, slamming doors, slapping phones out of my hand, breaking my shit. I told myself that it meant he cared, that he was possessive and jealous, but passionate. That word almost killed me. By the time I was 20, I had Cadence with a K, Cadence Claudia, my first baby, my first real love. I'd look at her and wonder how something so pure came from a life this rotten. He hated that. He hated that she made me soft. that she made me question what the fuck was I doing? Why was I staying? He'd get jealous of our bond, jealous of a fucking infant, and I stayed. I remember the first time he really hurt me. You've all heard this story. He smashed my head in with a dresser drawer. I was mid-sentence saying something about money or our daughter, something I wasn't supposed to say. And that voice that meant I still had a spine, and he flipped the fuck out. Just like that. Crack! My skull met wood and reality at the same time. There was blood in my hair, and I crawled to the bathroom, coming in and out of consciousness, screaming, "Someone call 911." Later, when I took him back, and I did, he didn't say sorry. He just said, "You made me do that." And I believed him. That part still fucks me up, that I went on to have another baby with him. You don't just wake up one day and decide I'm the type of person that stays. You get conditioned. Broken in like a dog, chained to a backyard no one visits. They feed you just enough to keep you from running away and beat you just enough to make sure you never try. He didn't just hit me. He rewired my brain, made chaos feel like home, made silence feel like punishment, made love and fear become synonymous. He taught me how to disassociate, how to leave my body without it ever moving. He trained me to stop flinching, to stop crying, to stop thinking escape was even possible. I wasn't just hooked on oxys, I was hooked on him, on the cycle, on the sick rhythm of abuse, apologies, withdrawal, and honeymoon phases. I was trauma bonded before I even knew what the term meant. And by 21, I wasn't just a mom, I was a shell with a baby on my hip and a man who broke my bones telling me it meant he loved me. And the worst part, I believed him. He didn't just crack my skull open that night. He broke time, made years blur together like blood on knuckles, like smoke in lungs and silence in courtrooms. He'd scream, then kiss, hit, then hold, hurt, then swear on everything he loved that he'd change, that he'd be better, and I would believe him. When he got me pregnant the second time, I thought that it would be better. I thought it would make him softer, but all it did was give him new reasons to hate me. My parents didn't know how to help. They were scared, ashamed, confused by how their daughter, who was raised right, could end up living like this. But that's what he did. That's what he made me do, and I would defend him to his grave when deep down I knew it was killing me. But the truth is, some days I wished it would. Then I left. I didn't leave, actually. I changed the locks while he was at work. It wasn't brave, it was survival. A quiet, desperate act of rebellion that shook my whole body. I had my brother bring the drill. My hands were trembling so bad I couldn't barely hold the screws. I kept looking out the window like I was stealing something when all I was doing was taking my life back. And even then, even in that moment, I felt guilty. I packed up all his stuff neatly, his shoes, his clothes, his shit. Gave a little bit of money that I had found like I had owed him something. I didn't. But when you've been broken that long, even freedom feels like a betrayal. When he came home that night and found that he couldn't get in, he flipped the fuck out. He screamed, kicked, threatened, begged, whispered things. Poisonous things. Like, you think you're going to get better than me now? You think anybody's going to want you? Don't do this to our family. Don't do this to us. Nobody is going to love you. I didn't open it, though. I didn't say a word. I just sat there behind that locked door holding my brand new baby, Aria. I held her so tight I thought I might crush her. I cried. Not because I missed him, not because I doubted what I was doing, but because I didn't even recognize this woman that finally, after 13 years, finally said no. That first night was the quietest night of my life. No footsteps pacing, no door slamming, no fists flying, just me, my baby, and the slow, unfamiliar sound of peace. But peace is a tricky thing when you've never known it. Because the silence started screaming. All the memories came rushing in like a flood. The bruises, the way he made me hate myself just with a look. I didn't feel strong. I felt exposed, like I'd ripped my own skin off my bones and I didn't know who was underneath. Locking that door, changing those locks, that wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a war that I would have to fight with no armor, no backup, no one clapping, just me and the wreckage of what I used to call love. And in that wreckage, I planted the first seed. Then I met him. We met on Facebook. It was nothing serious. I had just gotten out of a horrible 13-year relationship. I had a brand new baby and a 7-year-old. It was just a few messages, just a little harmless flirting. And then one night, he asked to come over, and I said, sure. He never left. And I got pregnant with Emily. I didn't plan it, didn't expect it, but something about it felt like it could maybe be a fresh start. And for a while it was. He was amazing in the beginning. Sweet, helpful, patient with aria and cadence. We built a life that almost felt normal. It was the closest thing that I'd ever had to any kind of stability. He didn't lay a hand on me. He held me like it mattered. He made me laugh, made me feel like maybe, just maybe, this could be different. It wasn't. Because addiction has its way of poisoning even the best of beginnings. So when we ended up on the streets, you know the story. That's when the cracks started to show. With the drugs came violence, and that hit harder because it was with a man I thought I had finally gotten it right with. We spent years running the streets together, lying to each other, telling each other we were going to get better. Better for the kids, better for each other, and we kept swearing we would never leave each other. But he did. He left me. And in the wreckage he left behind, I dug a deeper bottom I'd ever thought I'd fall into. I thought the worst was the nights that he PIMP'd me out. You know, the beatings, the robbing, the manipulation. But the worst was what happened after he walked away. So when he left, after 2 years on the streets, lying to each other, like I said, promising each other that we'd get clean for each other, clean for our kids, clean. All lies, just lies. Sorry, I had a little crash out for a second. After he left, after we'd spent 2 years on the streets, lying to each other, promising that we would get better for the kids, promising we'd never leave each other, he did. And when he left, it didn't just hurt me. I folded. Because when a man's done to you what he did to me, after the beatings, the robbings, after starving beside each other, when he leaves, you start to believe that even rock bottom doesn't want you. I thought the worst was over. I thought surviving him was the hard part, but the real pain came when I realized, sitting in the wreckage that we had created all alone, I was the only one that I could blame. I had no one left to chase, no chaos to distract me, just me, alone in the fallout with the death wish that I was carrying around like a purse that I couldn't put down. I didn't care anymore. Didn't care if I died. Didn't care who found me. I didn't even care if they wrote my name wrong on my obituary. I walked into every trap like maybe this was the last time and I wouldn't be walking out. I was reckless, deliberately self-destructing. Because if he could walk away after everything, what the fuck was I even alive for? I didn't have nothing left. I didn't cry. I went numb, went silent, went cold. People think that heartbreak is crying into a pillow, but for me, it looked like taking whatever drugs were offered to you, hoping it would be your last hit. He was supposed to be my rescue, my redemption story, my proof that not all men were meant to destroy you, but he destroyed me in a way that was different. Softer, slower, and far more fucking permanent. because I loved him. Not the way I loved my first thing. A different kind of love. So when he left, I didn't just lose a partner, I lost the fantasy. The last bit of hope that I was ever going to make it out of this life. But I did. Eventually. Somehow. Barely. So from 2018 to 2021, I was completely fucked. Like, I had a total death wish. I wanted to die. I literally was like, I'm just going to do this until I die. And my ex was just like living his life. Like, the last 4 years hadn't even happened. Like, some random person gave him a daughter and he was raising her with his sister, and I was just self-destructing in the streets. I was broken. And that's what this part's about. There comes a point when the dope stops working. You stop getting high. You just get quiet, heavy, like a blanket soaked in gasoline, just waiting for a spark. I remember sitting on some piss-stained mattress in some broken-ass trap, no sheets, no lights, no hydro, just some nails sticking out of the wall where some poor soul probably hung his last bag of hope. And I remember thinking, bro, this cannot be it. Not because I wanted better, but because I had already been through it all. How the fuck am I still here? And the weight of it hit me slow, like grief, like withdrawal, like waking up mid-overdose and not even being surprised that you're overdosing. I'd become a ghost with a pulse. I could read a dealer's mood just by the way he texted me, and I knew how to disappear without even anybody even noticing I was gone. But even ghosts get tired, you know. Even ghosts want to scream, and mine were screaming through every hallucination, through every infection, and through every time I would cough up blood and call it nothing. I'd burned every bridge, every second chance, every lie I told myself about how I was going to turn this all around. And still, I couldn't stop. Because stopping meant feeling, and feeling meant remembering, and remembering meant facing the part of me that had let this all fucking happen. I wasn't scared of dying. I was scared of being a name someone whispered, like a cautionary tale. Another mom who didn't make it, another girl who got in with the wrong crowd. I wanted more. But I didn't believe I deserved more, so I kept using, kept floating, kept sinking deeper into a life that didn't want me alive, but wasn't ready to let me die either. I didn't even flinch when they cuffed me, didn't argue, didn't beg. I was almost relieved. I knew it was coming. Jail felt like the only place left where I could pause the destruction without having to stop it myself. And no, I'm not going to go into details. They never get it right anyway. The paperwork never matches the pain, and the rumors, they only tell you half the story. Usually they get that half wrong. Just know I ended up behind a locked door, and even that wasn't enough to save me. Because when I got out, I didn't run towards the light. I ran harder into the darkness. No one was waiting for me. No kids with homemade cars, no man with open arms, just cold air, cold eyes, and colder dope. I walked straight into another trap house like it was home, because it was, in a way, it was mine. And that death wish, it came back like vengeance. I was stealing, lying, conning, manipulating, burning bridges that were already ash. And not for survival, but for silence. Because silence is the only thing that made sense. Numb is easier than shame, numb is better than guilt, and numb is quieter than grief. I had nothing left to lose, and somehow I kept losing more dignity, more weight, more time, more friends. They were dropping like flies all around me. Obituaries became background noise. Funerals felt like catch-ups. Another day, another overdose, another name on the list. And me, I just kept going, kept breathing, kept using, kept pretending I didn't care. But somewhere deep, I knew I couldn't do this for much longer. So when I got out of jail, I didn't get clean. I went deeper. I went on a whole month-long terror, like the streets owed me time. Then I died in a snowbank. You've heard the story. Not for long, but for long enough. I don't even remember it. I don't even remember using. I know it was a bender, crack and fentanyl, whatever I could get my hands on. I guess my body gave out. I was barefoot, in a nightgown, skin blue, lips cracked, soul between here and gone. The landlord found me, and Kev. Kev saved my life, showed up with Narcan. They revived me again and again, pushed life back into a body that didn't want it. Then I woke up in a hospital gown, no shoes, no memory, just the echo of almost not making it and the weight of still being here. Kevin died 6 months into my sobriety. 6 months after he brought me back, he's dead and I'm here. And if that isn't some twisted kind of survivor's guilt, I don't know what is, but that day in the snow, that was the last time something broke, or maybe something woke up. Maybe it was Kevin's voice, maybe it was God, maybe it was just enough. But I knew if I didn't stop now, I never would. And my kids would bury me. And my name would be nothing but a whisper, a cautionary tale, and all this pain, all this fucking pain would mean nothing. When I woke up, I called my parents. I don't remember much after the overdose. I don't even remember if the bear mace or the overdose happened first. That whole month after I got out of jail is just a mesh of cops and EMS and drug dealers and sex work and overdoses. I don't remember what come first. I don't remember what made me go home. Was it the bear mace or the overdose? I still can't to this day remember which is which. I know one of those incidents pushed me to go back, to go home, to go to my parents. When I really woke up, it was about 5 days later. Eyes wide open, body wrecked, but something inside me said, enough. My parents came to get me. They picked me up. No yelling, no guilt trips, just quiet. They didn't say, how could you? Or what now? They just opened the car door and I got in. No shoes, no bag, no plan, just me, alive, barely, but alive. We drove home and then to the cottage, south, away, into the trees that didn't know my name, didn't know who Trap House Mel was. They'd only known Melissa. Into silence that didn't scream at me. I detoxed by the lake. I had to go on Sublocade. Coughed up the last 20 years into garbage bags and bath towels. I screamed in the shower, sweated through 3 mattresses, slept in shift, cried in whispers. And one day, I got up, put clean clothes on, and I didn't feel like dying. That was it. There was no pride. There was no miracle. Just a quiet morning where I looked out at the water and I didn't want to drown in it. That's the day the world tilted back into place. That's the day the running stopped. That's the day I chose to fucking live. Recovery doesn't start with step 1. It starts with a toothbrush, a shower, a bowl of soup that you can actually finish, a text that someone answers back. It starts with sitting across your own children and wondering if they even recognize you, if they know this version of you, or even if they want to. The first time I held them again, I didn't feel joy. It was shame. They were bigger. They were different. They weren't babies. They were brighter. They were more whole than I had remembered. And fuck, I'd missed so much. First days of school, first teeth loss, first broken hearts. I should have been there to mend. Instead, I was passed out in trap houses, chasing oblivion, wearing track marks like sleeves. They didn't let me back in, not all at once. Not with trust, but with time. And that time, it was sacred. There were mornings where I would pack lunches or drive them to school. I would show up to parent-teacher interviews and I would say, I'm their mom. Not guardian, not aunt, not grandma, not visiting relative, mom. It felt more like a confession than a prayer. I started making content, sharing my story, not for clout or fame, but because if I didn't speak it, it would swallow me fucking whole. And then, bitch, I went viral. Started getting messages from people I'd never even met thanking me for saying what they couldn't say about someone they lost or someone they still loved. It didn't fix everything, but it helped. It helped me build something new, something honest. I'm not the mom I should have been, but I'm the mom they have now, and I show up every fucking day, bro. Every fucking day. Now, this part, we're going to talk about karma. I love karma. I think karma is a great thing. So I want to talk about it. He's still out there. The first one. The one who beat me for 13 years, who cracked my skull open with a dresser drawer, who got me hooked on OxyContin at 17 and called it love. He's still out there. But his life doesn't look very sweet right now. I don't think it ever has, to be fair. He's a homeless drunk, screaming at ghosts, abusing everyone who gets close enough to care. There's no redemption arc, no healing, no apology letter tucked into a rehab bed. Just rage, regret, and rot. And I don't say that to laugh. I don't say it to gloat. I say it because karma, it's fucking real. And sometimes it moves slow. But bitch, it's precise. He has no contact with his children. None. Because he can't be trusted. Because even now, even years later, even in almost his 50s, he's still dangerous. He's still the same monster. Only older, only bitter, only less careful. He burns every hand that tries to feed him, breaks every heart that tries to help. And you know what? For a long time, I waited on that karma. Waited to see him suffer. Waited for the world to see him the way he really was. And now, now I just see it all, everything that's happening to him. I just see it as proof. Proof that the life you choose will eventually choose you back. He chose violence, control, addiction, and now it's the only thing left holding his hand. Well, me? I've got kids in my arms, love in my home, and a voice that echoes from beyond the trap. That's the difference. That's the win. That's the karma that I've been waiting for. The next part, this is a funeral. This is the part where I bury her. Not with flowers, not with tears, but with truth. I bury the girl who stayed, the girl who flinched, the girl who thought a fist was just another act of love. The girl who held a baby while blood ran down her face. The girl who lied to herself and said, he's sorry, he'll change, this time's different. I loved her. I forgive her. But I am letting her go. Today we are burying her. Yes, she kept me alive. Trap house Mel, the alter ego, the fighter, the mask I wore to survive men who wanted me dead, and systems didn't care if I succeeded. She was strong. She is strong. But strength was built in trauma. It isn't peace. It's armor. You can't cradle your kids with fists always clenched. And Trap house Mel, her fists are always clenched. So today I lay her down, piece by piece, at court dates, in detox showers, at swimming lessons, behind podcast mics. Every time I said, this is who I once was, I was really saying, this is who I survived. And now I'm not her anymore. I'm not the girl who takes it. I'm not the girl who hides the bruises. I'm not the girl who's scared of the phone ringing. Maybe I am. I'm the woman who shows up. The mom who gets called first, the voice on the other end of a message that says, you saved my life. I've built something from nothing, grown love in soil, poisoned by violence and fentanyl and grief, and somehow it's blooming. This is the end of that first wound, but not the end of me, not even close. Because from here, the story doesn't stop. Finally begins. Bitch, this is a robbery. It started like every junkie mission starts. A plan whispered between broken people who think they're smarter than consequences and quicker than karma. Just me, my baby dad, my homegirl, and her 2 kids sipping juice in the back seat like it was just another Tuesday. We had nothing, not even the lies to tell ourselves anymore, because the sickness was in full swing. Knees weak, sweat thick, bones barking for a fix. I had a plan. We were going to hit up some local kids, young kids, not street season. They were new, just getting into the game, and I knew that. They didn't even see it coming. We walked in, smiling, laughing, cutting it up like we were just visiting, but really, I was casing the joint, clearing the weapons, hiding the knives, except one, the biggest one that I could find in that kitchen. I tucked it into my waistband like I was pregnant with rage. I just looked at him, my baby dad, from across the room and said, "Are you ready?" He nodded. I walked into the living room, flipped the coffee table like a grenade, and screamed, "Bitch, this is a fucking robbery." They froze, fumbled, panicked. We didn't even need to touch them. The knife said enough. The look in my eyes said enough. We took the dope, the cash, the fear, and dipped. Ran out to the waiting truck. Doors open, engine running. 2 babies in the back seat, still watching cartoons, oblivious to the sins, riding shotgun. That was the first one. The first time that I had crossed that line. The first time I felt that sick rush and didn't look back. And I love to tell you that I cried after that. I was upset, that I felt shame, but I didn't. Not then, because survival doesn't leave room for feelings. It just leaves instructions. Take, run, numb, repeat. I think about those kids sometimes, the ones in the back seat, the ones that we robbed, about the blade in my waistband like a promise I never planned to keep. I think about who I was, not evil, just a product, a mirror of trauma, addiction, and chaos raised by chaos. You don't get there because you're bad. You get there because every other option disappeared. But I'm not her anymore, the girl who flipped that coffee table, the girl with the knife down her pants and the death wish in her chest. I buried her right next to that coffee table. Now I'm alive. This is the story of the girl who didn't die, the girl who lived to tell on herself so someone else doesn't have to walk into that house like that. Tales from the Trap. This is where the silence ends and we start telling the fucking truth. So I don't remember if I've ever told that story before. So that was a spoken word that I created about a fucking home invasion. First one I ever did. I don't know what the fuck. That time in my life, 2016, going into 2017, like the summer of 2016, the fall of 2016, that is where Trap House Mel was created. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I'm trying to pinpoint the moment that Trap House Mel was created. She was created then. I remember my girlfriend was dating this drug dealer. And like we were taking turns watching the kids. So like one night they would watch all the kids, like stay at the house where the kids slept, and like we would run the roads, and then we would switch, and it would be like me and my baby dad, and they would go out and run the roads. Well, the agreement was whoever was at home had drugs. And I was pissed because the dope ran out and they weren't answering the fucking phone. And like, this is the moment where I think Trap House Mel was created, because I was like threatening her boyfriend. Like, I will fucking murder you if you don't come back here and give me dope. Like, I will leave these kids. Like, I was straight up like, I'm going to leave the kids. Like, if you don't come back and give me dope, like, I will leave the kids to go get myself dope. So figure it the fuck out. And I remember them pulling into the driveway after like hours of no, they weren't talking, like they weren't responding. And I flew out of the house, met the car in the driveway, and was like, had a knife in my hand and was like threatening the boyfriend. And like, it was like a whole thing. And this was happening all the fucking time. And my behavior was just escalating and escalating and escalating. My aunt told the story about like how I popped off at my baby dad in the fucking Ontario Works building and just started feeding him shots. Like, I was so not well. And that was the beginning of it. When we did that home invasion, that was the beginning of I don't give a fuck what happens to me. I don't give a fuck about the consequences. I will do whatever I have to do in order to sustain my addiction. That's when that started. That first fucking home invasion that we did, that was the beginning. So I have some questions here about that. So when you think back to that moment, do you remember how you felt, or you just remember what you did? No, first of all, I felt like I was tough shit because my baby dad would not initiate us robbing them. I had to. I was like, bitch, this is a robbery. And I flipped the cop. Like I went fucking, I thought I was a gangster. I did. I thought I was a whole ass gangster. I was proud of myself. I was proud of myself for robbing a bunch of defenseless fucking children who thought they were gangsters too, and they were selling drugs. Don't sell drugs. I'll be more gangster than you, bud. That's what I thought. I was proud of myself. Was there a moment right after it was over that you felt guilt? I felt guilt because the kids were in the car. That's what I was like, okay, this cannot keep happening. Like, we are out of control. The mother's obviously not doing well if she's letting this shit go on in front of her children. I'd gotten rid of mine. So yeah, I felt mad guilt because there were babies in the car. There was babies in the car. Like, what the fuck? But I didn't feel guilt. I wasn't like feeling guilty for robbing these teenagers. I was like, you want to sell fucking dope? This is what happens. You get fucking robbed by crackheads. Period on period. You want to sell dope? This is what happens, Pookie. Do you remember what the kids in the back seat were doing when you got back in the truck? They were doing nothing. They were watching cartoons on her phone. They were not doing anything. It wasn't very long. We were in and out. But yeah, we brought them to do a fucking home invasion. It wasn't very smart. Was that the first time you felt like you'd gone too far, or did it just feel normal back then? It was normal. But it definitely was the catalyst that went, oh yeah, I'm a fucking gangster. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can hurt whoever I want. I can rob whoever I want. I'm going to do this until I fucking die. And that was the plan. That was a plan. I had no intentions of going back to my life, to my kids, I didn't give a fuckity fuck. I was going to do this until I died. I was just very taken aback when he left me because I didn't think he was going to leave me. But when he left me, I was like, okay, now we really going to be out here dying. Because damn, this motherfucker left my ass? What the fuck? I must really be fucked up if this fucker left. So yeah, after that, that's when I went, okay, let's just do this until we die. Because there ain't no going back. Did you ever see those people you robbed? No, I don't even remember who they were. I just remember they were young fucking kids that we knew were selling dope because we had bought dope off them before, and we had went to that house before, and the friend that I was fucking with, her boyfriend was the one who set it up. Her drug dealer boyfriend was the one who was like, yo, why don't you go rob those kids? And I was like, say less. Bet. Huh. The fuck? How long after that moment did it take before you realized that wasn't who you wanted to be anymore? Like 7 years. Yeah, so that was 2016. I didn't get clean till 2021. So 5 years later. 5 years later. Yeah. I don't know. Did anyone ever call you out for what you did? No. Absolutely fucking not. No. They were pissed because we wouldn't piece them off on from what we got. We were like, no, we went in there. You're not, you was like, oh, we set it up. I don't give a fuckity fuck, bud. Did you go in there? Did you fucking threaten people with not? No, you did not. I did. Fuck you, bud. Fuck off. What would you say to those kids now if they somehow heard this piece? I'm not sure which kids. The kids that we robbed, I would probably say I'm sorry, but I hope that scared you, and I hope you got out. I hope that you're no longer selling drugs in the trap. Like I hope that you got better, and I hope that scared the fuck out of you. I hope I scared the fuck out of you. Period. How do you forgive yourself for what those kids were exposed to? They weren't my motherfucking children. They weren't my children, period. Not my children. And I know they're doing great today. So, and the mother's sober and doing amazing. And so, yeah, not my children. Sorry. I did what I had to do. I got my kids safe. Did flipping that coffee table feel like power? Yes. Yes. I felt like it was a fucking G, bruh. I was like, what? You big bad fucking gangster that's been in and out of jail your whole life isn't going to start this home invasion? Say less, but I will. You know, I thought I was a gangster, period. I was not. I am not made for the streets. No, I'm not. I'm a pussy. I'm not a pussy, but I don't want to, I'm far too smart. I'm far too cute. That ain't my life. No. But it did feel powerful at the time to rob a bunch of defenseless children. Loved it. Trap House Mel didn't give a fuck, bud. She didn't give a fuck. She robbed her grandma. She robbed her dad. She doesn't care, bruh. If somebody said, give me your fucking grandma for some fent, I'd be like, say less! Say less! Do you still carry the weight of that day? Or do you leave it buried with her, the girl who flipped that table? I don't have guilt from that. I do not have guilt from that at all. You want to sell drugs, you run the risk of crackheads robbing you. And I was a crackhead and I robbed you like that. I don't know what you want me to say. No, I don't feel guilty at all. You got free dope out of it. I feel guilty, bud. I kept doing it. I kept robbing people that way. So much. After he left me in 2018 and I went fucking feral, not that I wasn't feral before, but I went way feral. I went let's just die feral. After he left me, because he dragged me down. He didn't want to participate as much as I did. So he dragged me down. Once he was gone, once he left my ass, I was like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And I did. Sad, but I did. Okay, so I have some other questions. And let's just get into them. Okay, so I have some subscriber questions for the spoken word, The First Wound. So I sent it to my friend and she sent me back a bunch of hypothetical questions. Okay, so what did 17-year-old you need that nobody gave her? Rules, guidance, discipline. My parents were parenting for the first time. They were trying not to push away a crazy ass teenager. And I really love that my aunt kind of corroborates this, because in my mind, I feel a lot of times I'm like, am I remembering this wrong? Am I to blame? Do my parents have any, onus on any of this? And I think her corroborating my childhood really helped me understand that I'm right. That's exactly what went down. They were gone. They were gone. And whatever, it is what it is, and I have an 18-year-old. I know exactly how it feels to not know what the fuck to do. And you're like, should I be their friend? Should I give them boundaries? Should I give them rules? And they're like, fuck you every time you try to be a parent. I can't blame my parents for nothing, but I know 17-year-old me needed those things. I know she needed structure and stability and guidance and rules that she didn't get. She did not get them. It is what it is, bro. When did you first lie to protect him? All the time, to my parents. So he had a bad, in the beginning, it was just smashing my shit. He would smash up our home, and as it progressed, he started to get more and more physical with me. But in the beginning, it was just smashing my house. So I had a toddler in a house that he was smashing up all the fucking time. And then obviously I would call for help, call the cops, take my kid to my parents, go to Rollies, do whatever I had to do. But when it came down to it, I always protected him. So he fucking choked my ass out in front of our daughter in one of our first apartments that we got after we had Cadence. First time we got into subsidized housing. So He wasn't even supposed to be living with me in the first place. But he was, of course. And he fucking choked me out in the hallway in front of our kid on camera. On camera. So the security guard saw it all, bro. He got arrested. And this would happen over and over and over and over again, where I would flee, try to get help, get the help I needed, and then make up excuses as to why it was my fault, not his, and why I was like, I always went back because I didn't know who the fuck I was without this monster. And like, I was terrified to even be alone. Why do you think I got out of a 13-year relationship and hopped into bed with some fucking random off Facebook? Because I couldn't be alone. And that's why when I see girls like that today, I'm just like, Pookie, if you could get through the first year, you're gold. You'll be the happiest you've ever been in your life. Get the fuck out of that. What the fuck are you doing? Stop doing that to your kids. Your kids are gonna fucking hate you, bro. You think your kids want to watch you get your fucking ass kicked? You think your kids want to watch you fucking... No! Are you okay? I see my friends that go through abusive shit all the time and let these fucking monster losers in and out of their lives. Like, just like, it's just, I can't. I try not to judge, but I'm judging from the bottom. Like, I'm not judging from a pedestal. I'm judging because I was you, bruh. I'm you, but 40. I'm you with 20 years experience. Like, please listen to me. I'm not judging you because I think I'm better than you. I'm judging you because, bitch, I did what you're doing. Please allow my story to be a cautionary tale, because if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. You don't think you're going to lose your kids? Stop. Okay, keep raising them around fucking crazy chaos and destruction and violence and see how far that gets you, Pookie. You know? So, anyways, I don't even know what the question was, but what did it feel like to be a 20-year-old holding a baby girl, knowing the man who helped made you bleed? Fuck, I don't know, man. I hated that piece of shit for years. Like, I did not want to be with him. And then after the violence had gotten so bad and I had sunk deep into my addiction trying to cope with it, I hated to even be home. I hated to be around him at the end. So I was just like leaving all the time. And then we got into it one morning and he was trashing the house again. And I left my kid. I was like, I'm out, bro. I was so fucked up. I was doing IV drugs. At that time, my addiction had progressed. This was right before Cadence was given to my mom. So he called my mom and he was like, she just took off. I got to go to work. I don't know what you want me to do. My mom took her and that was that. She had her ever since. And I stayed, bro. Twice I did this to my children. 2 different times. I knew I was a weak piece of shit, monster of a human, disgusting disgrace of a mother, and I was not strong enough to leave these men that were wreaking havoc in our lives. I knew I wasn't strong enough to leave them, so I left my kids instead. Like, what? Are you okay, Pookie? But I know it's not just me, because I fucking see this shit every day. I see this shit every day. I see women choose men over their kids every fucking day, bruh. Every day. I can walk out this door right now and see it. Let me just say that. Okay? Okay, so it's fucking common. But when I tell these girls, this is not, you're going to regret this. You're going to regret this. You're going to look back and you're going to be making poems about how much you want to smash the girl you were in 2025. Like, why do you go to what? Like, it just bothers me. It pisses me off because I'm like, look, this is what's going to happen. And they're like, no, he's different. He's just going through something. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Your kids deserve better. Just like my kids deserved better. But I was a dumb bitch. And I was like, oh, I love him. Shut up. Anyways. Sorry, I don't even know if I'm answering these questions. Okay, let's move on from fucking man boobs here. That's what I call him. He's man boobs. He's currently a homeless drunk. Living with his mom, beating the shit out of each other. I just love it. It's karma. That's why I made the spoken word karma, because you're a piece of shit and you deserve it all, bro. Okay. Let's move on here. When you met baby dad number 2. Did you think he was your way out? Yep. So I met him in April. I had kicked out Patrick in December. And I moved my brother into my apartment. I had a brand new baby. My mom was letting me take Cadence all the time. Child protection let me take Fee home. I was clean. I was doing well. I had all my methadone carries. I was doing well. And then, so he's out in December. I stopped fucking with him in like February because he's a bum. Nowhere to live. Never did. Still doesn't even have a fucking driver's license. Doesn't even have a driver's license and just got his first bank account. Anyways, at 50. Anyways, okay, so yeah, I stopped fucking with him in February because he was like, I have no place. Can I come see the kids at your house? So I would let him. And then he would like manipulate me to let him sleep over. And then I'd be back in it. So by February, I was like, done. Block, delete, done. Stop letting him come around. Stop letting his mom come around. I was done. Okay. He wouldn't sign this fucking birth certificate. He would not sign Aria's birth certificate. Okay. He had it in his head that she wasn't his. Whatever. I think I may have told him she wasn't his to like get him out. I'm almost positive I did because it makes sense with what I did next. So, April. I remember it. I remember everything. Okay. April 2013. Yes. No, 2014. I'm on Facebook and I'm on the hunt. I'm like, in order to get over him, I got to get under someone else. And fuck, I did just that. So, I knew baby dad number 2 from like back in the day. We were both drug addicts. He was like fucked up downtown. And I heard he had died of a drug overdose. I went to high school with his brother. And I knew he was alive, but I thought he was dead. Like I thought he had died of a drug overdose. That's the rumor I heard. So when I was like, doing my fucking FBI Facebook, who's available kind of thing, I ran into his brother on Facebook. So I was like, ooh, Johnny, I'm going to look to see like what's going on. Then I found the brother, and the brother was way cuter than the guy I went to high school with. I always had a crush on him to the point where Patrick, my first baby dad, every time we would see my second baby dad, like out in the community, he'd be like, oh, there's your boyfriend. Bitch, I made him my boyfriend. I made him my baby dad. Okay. So anyways, I messaged him because I found him on Facebook and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. And he was like, I don't, but you're fine. Let me come over. And I was like, bet. Say less. And he came over and never left. Okay. I was in love right from the get. Bitch, I made that man sign Aria's birth certificate. Like that was her dad. That was her first word. Like that was her father. Patrick who? What? So in 4 weeks time, when I find out, oh, bitch, you're preggo. You got pregnant the first time you slept with this man. This random ass newfie you met from Facebook. He was fine though. He was fine as fuck back then. So I was like, bet, say less. Like, let's do it. Beautiful baby girl that I had. She was about 6 months old when I met him, or 4 months old when I met him. He signed her birth certificate. That was her dad. Then I get pregnant with my third daughter. Have Emily. We got a beautiful family, but we're both addicts. My sobriety did not last long. We got evicted from one apartment. Then we got evicted from another apartment. Then we got evicted from another apartment. And my mom's like, yo, what is happening right now? Like, why are you guys keep getting evicted? I don't know if it was evicted or we would move because we knew we were going to get evicted. I think there was only one eviction notice. So anyways, we're fucked up. At this time, we're doing opiates. That was really our thing, just opiates. And every time I say this on Full Circle, Jamie's like, not just. I'm like, for addicts, it is just opiates, okay? Anyways, if you know, you know. I wasn't smoking crack or shooting fucking fent. I was just doing opiates. Anyways, my parents buy us this beautiful house. I thought he was my ticket to happiness. Period. I'm going to go on to the next question because I'm just going to keep talking. You guys already know the story. Okay. When the drugs came in and the abuse started, was it familiar? No, it was a million times worse. It was a million times worse because I was like, oh no, Oh no, don't do that. Because at first he would just leave. Like we would get into it, there would be yelling and screaming, and he would leave. Then he stopped leaving when it would get like that, and he started trashing the house again, just like the first one would do. And I was like, are we okay? Is this actually happening again? And then the kids were starting to see it, and it got crazy. And it was so familiar that I was terrified. Because I didn't even love that piece of shit that I stayed with for 13 years. I am head over heels invested with this fucker. I know I ain't going nowhere. I know he'll have to kill me or leave me. And that's what ended up happening. He would have killed me if he didn't leave me. Thank God he did, because we would have both been dead. Because I was getting to the point where I was beating his ass every fucking day. He'd just say something to me, and I'd be like, fucking, I'd lose it. It's reactive abuse. But yeah, I was an abuser too. Fuck, I ain't no victim. I ain't no fucking victim, bitch. My aunt says it. She was like, they were just sitting there in the office shooting the shit, and all of a sudden Melissa got up and started wailing on him. I'm an abuser. I'm not a victim. I'm a crazy drug addict, fucking violent bitch. That's just how it is. I admit that. You know? I didn't pimp him out. Well, I tried, but no women pay for sex. We tried that too. We had a whole operation. But it was ride or die. We were both involved. Nobody was a fucking victim of nobody's. Okay? When he left, you said you hit a rock bottom you didn't even know existed. Can you describe that rock bottom? What did it feel like waking up without him but still carrying the wreckage? Okay. Let's talk about this. 2018, he fucking blocks me off everything, okay? Because we had separated, like physically. Like he went to rehab, the sober living, and I went to the DV shelter. I was trying to get us an apartment. I started seeing the kids again. But I had initiated access to my to Jamie's son, and he was not happy about that, first of all, because the bio father was calling my cell phone all the time. He was catching me talking to buddy in prison. Like he was like, I don't want nothing, I'm not being a second baby dad. Like, no, like I'm out. Like, how are you with the second baby dad but you got a third baby dad? Like, what? How embarrassing is that to him? So no, he was gone. Bye, peace. And he got clean. You know what I mean? I would have done the same thing. Not me. But if I had a brain in my head, because I'll stay through it all, bitch. I'm dumb and Irish. I don't leave. I get comfortable. I would have stayed till I died. I'm just saying. We've all been there. Well, at least I've been there. So anyways. What was it like? Oh, yeah. It was fucking hell, bud. I wanted to kill myself. I was like 400 pounds because I was trying to stay sober. It was horrible. It was fucking horrendous. I hated him. I wanted him back. Till this day, I still want him back. It's still fucked up. It's still fucked up because you know, it's not good. It was never good. It was all a fucking lie, fairy tale bullshit, drug fueled fucking nonsense. It wasn't good. It wasn't real. It wasn't love. But my brain still does stupid shit. I still love the motherfucker. You know, it sucks. It fucking sucks, but that's life. I need a fucking lighter, bro. Hold on. Was there an era where Trap House Mel really took over? Yeah, so after he left me, I went fucking feral. And that's when I turned into something that I didn't even see coming. Like, I literally had a death wish. I did not care. I was extorting people and like blackmailing people and doing like I've told you guys. It was bad. Okay. Did you love Mark then you loved yourself? Yes. Duh. These questions are heavy. Let's go on to something more lighthearted. Do you think oh yeah, is there a part of your story that no one knows? Yes. Yes, there is a part of my story. I was thinking about that the other day. Is there a part that I still haven't told? Yes. Yes, and I'll never talk about it. Maybe in my 60s. Maybe if I ever leave this town, or the people I used to fuck with are dead. There's a part that I still can't talk about. No, I can't. I'm legally not allowed to talk about it. So, but yeah, there's a big part of my story that nobody, not one person knows about it. Not, well, one actually. And she told a couple people too. No, nobody believed her though. Anyways, yeah, there is a part. There's a part. There's a part. What was that overdose at the end of your story like, or the beginning of your legacy? What was it like? It was, so my aunt says the first overdose that I had was in the car with my buddy and his sister, and that was the one that scared me because I had to get Narcan. But at that point in my addiction, like in my life, I wanted to die. I was totally cool with it. I didn't think I would ever have a life after this. I didn't think I thought I was done for. I thought I was done for. You don't spend 18 years in and out of the fucking streets, lose all your children, walk the stroll and sell your body in a community that you grew up with, that you still live in to this day. How do you come back from that, bro? How the fuck did I come back from? I don't know. Because I have a lot of I don't give a fuck attitude. And like, you're going to judge me. You're going to judge me, bruh. You're from Sudbury fucking Ontario and you're going to judge me. I don't care. I really don't care, because personally, and the people that live in my community, the people who are successful are not like, I have the best of humanity around me today. I have the best of human. Every person in my life is a good person. I don't fuck with nobody weird and shady or nothing. Like, I don't know. So I could give a fuck what anybody else thinks, because the people in my life are the best people in the world. So why would I give a fuck about a bunch of fucking losers from Sudbury? Bruh. Like, I can't. Because the intelligence and intellect is so lacking on the vast majority of people who have something to say. Like, let's talk about your worst day, bruh. Let's talk about your worst day. What happens when I Google your fucking name? How many rehabs have you been to? How many rehabs has your sister been to? Yeah? Let's talk about it. Because until you start telling me about your darkest days, you can't judge me on mine, Pookie, because I know if you're from Sudbury, you know. You got some skeletons, bro. We all do, okay? If you're from my generation, if you made it out the OxyContin epidemic and the opiate epidemic and you came out the other side, why the fuck would I care what anybody else thinks? I survived, bro. All my friends are dead. So if you want to talk to me about my worst day and you want to judge me, I want to hear about yours. Matter of fact, let me Google your name right fucking now and see what comes up. That's what I mean. Back up. Okay, I have a really good question. Before I made this video, I put a call out on TikTok and I got a really good question that I want to talk about. So the question is, I'm not sure if you've discussed this, but how do you deal with losing your children to your parents, being sober for years and still not having your kids back? I've been sober years and I feel my daughter is happier and more content with my mom. How do you cope with that guilt, feeling like your daughter is happier with your parents than you? Do I just forever keep her with my parents or do I fight back? It's hard. It's horrendous. It's fucking horrific. When I got home, like when I got out of jail and got sober and went to live with my parents, it took a really long time to even know if that was going to be the right choice or not. And I found out very quickly that my kids wanted to be with me. One was a teenager and one was having a hard time with my mom and dad. I know being a teenager with my mom is not easy, because I went through it and I did not have a good time. Okay. I turned into a drug addict. So I understand. I understood what she was feeling. So I was like, I got to get this fucking kid out of here. But then Aria was little, right? My mom had had her since she was 3. She was, 8 when I got her back. 8 when I got out of jail. 10 when I got her back, or 9 when I got her back, when they moved in with me. I didn't know if that was going to be the right choice. I still don't know if I made the right choice, but I know my parents were not going to continue parenting when I was capable. So when like the original plan was for my oldest just to move in with me, but the night before we moved, my parents were like, "Hey, you want to take your other daughter too?" And I was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely." Don't know if I made the right choice. Don't know. Still don't know. I'll have to see how they turn out. My teenager has struggled, but my teenager was struggling with my mom and dad. So it's so fucking hard, like guilt wise. So I have another daughter, right? She lives with her aunt full time. I fought for 3 years trying to get her back. And at the end, when she got her own lawyer and she was like, I think I want to stay with my aunt. Like, I just want to be able to see my mom whenever I want. I could have kept pushing it. I could have kept going. I had a really good chance of getting at least 50-50. And I was like, say less, babe. Like the minute she said what she wanted, I had to go along with what she wanted, knowing full well that's not what I wanted. I wanted her here half the time, at least. But since then, I know I made the right choice. If you are in your children's lives and if you are still their mom and you are still actively participating in their lives, them, a piece of paper in custody is not going to change that. If you're sober and present and involved, you should not feel guilt. I know it's hard. What's made me feel better is understanding that the girl I was when I got out of jail in 2021 and the hurt and the pain that she was enduring because of the choices that she made, it's not the way it was 4 years ago today. I don't have this overwhelming sense of guilt because my parents had to take my kids. I'm proud that I made it back, and as should you. We are so fucking hard on ourselves. Like, you did the best thing you could do for your children. That is what a parent's job is, to get them safe. And if you were struggling and you got them safe, then you should be proud. You shouldn't have guilt because you understand that your parents are more capable of giving her a better life than maybe, an addict in recovery would be. Like, I know I can't give my kids the life that like Ange can give her, or even my son that I put up for adoption. I can't take him to Disneyland. I don't have a husband. He wouldn't have a father. Like, so I just have to understand that the choices that I made, just because they were because of my addiction, I still made good choices because my kids are all thriving. They're all thriving, right? And as long as you are in therapy and you're doing things that you enjoy, and if you want to be like, I'm not saying if your parents have custody and you're not really her mom, there's nothing wrong with that either. So I don't really know your situation, because I know a lot of people, when they give their kids up, they're no longer the parent. Their mom is, or their aunt is, or whatever, and they get to be mom, and the kids don't really see you as mom. And I know that's fucking difficult. But we are coming back from a horrific experience, right? Addiction is a debilitating mental health crisis. It is probably one of the most horrific experiences a human can experience. You came back from that and survived. Only 2% of people who struggle with addiction and suffer from substance abuse disorder come back out and stay sober. 2%. 98% of our people are gone or still out there. You were a part of the 2% of people who fought their way back. If that's not a mother's love, like, I understand you did it for yourself, but your babies will grow up with the understanding that you not only gave them a safe space when you were struggling, but you fought like hell to come home to them, no matter what the dynamic is, right? That's all my kids remember. Like, my oldest, she remembers the fucked up shit because she was older and she remembers the, but my babies don't remember. All they know is the mom that I am today, and that I fought like hell to come home to them. That's it. So when they grow up, they're going to understand you fought like hell to come home to them. You fought like hell to give yourself a better life and to give them a better life, right? So why have guilt about it? What's really helped me is therapy. Get some fucking therapy, because it's not easy. It's so hard. Like, I'm very fortunate. The people who have my children, I have a really good relationship with them, where I didn't before. Me and Emily's aunt beat the shit out of each other physically. Okay, we were not friends at all, but now we are, and I'm blessed because of the relationship I have with her. But I know it's hard when it's your parents. I know it's hard because you feel like you're judged. Because my mom judges me even though I'm 4 years sober and doing amazing, and I'm an excellent mom. My mom still judges me, bitch. She still fucking judges me. So I couldn't imagine if she still had my child and I was sober and I was thriving and trying to be, like live a life after addiction. Like I could not imagine, because I know how my mom is. My mom, I was at camp, and it's hard, and I'm not trying to dog on my mom. I love Doris. Okay. But my mom is such a bitch. I was sitting here because this is what I enjoy. I love podcasting. I love making content. I love interviewing people. This is my passion. To coming back and talking about the life that I survived, and talking about addiction is my life. And she knows mocking it will piss me off. So my mom walked up. I'm interviewing my aunt, and my mom walked up and she's pretending to be on a microphone. And she's like, she's such a stupid fucking bitch. So I couldn't imagine being sober, trying to thrive, trying to do things that you enjoy, and trying to be the best version of yourself, and your mom still has your kids, bruh. Ugh. Trust me, that would be difficult. Because I know, my mom had my kids, and I was living under her roof after I got out of jail for 2 fucking years before I got out, before me and my kids left, okay? It was horrendous. It was the most horrendous experience of my life. I talk about it in the podcast with my aunt. It'll be up on Wednesday at midnight. Go check it out. But it was horrific. Even my aunt was like, I don't know how you did it. Like, you and your mom were getting ugly. So I can just imagine how horrific it is. Protect your peace. Protect your peace. That's it. If you're not in a position to be a parent to her, I know how hard it is, but let them do it. Let them do it if it's gonna protect your shit. Because they're not little forever. I don't know how old your kids are, but they're not little forever. And if you allow your parents to give them a good childhood, they will love you for that. I know how fucking hard it is, but you should not feel any guilt. Because what a mother's responsibility is to protect our children. And we did. We protected them from our addiction by giving them to people who were more capable than we were at the time. That is a mother's love. That is selflessness. Right? So I don't have guilt. I don't have any guilt. I have guilt about my oldest still. But my younger ones, no, I don't. And I don't have Emily full time. I'm sharing her with her aunt and her dad. It's hard. It's always going to be hard. When there's 3 people that don't really like each other very much, trying to agree on a child, it's not easy. But what I keep saying to people, what I keep reiterating over and over again, is we came back from a horrific experience. We are only 2% of us survive, right? We are laying in the bed we made for ourselves, because our addiction is our responsibility. Nobody is to blame for why we are addicts. Okay, you can have all the trauma in the world. It is still not an excuse. Just saying. So we are laying in the bed we created for ourselves, and we're just trying to make the best of whatever we have left. That's all you got to do. Stop being so fucking hard on yourself. That's all you got to do. Get therapy. And what has helped me is this: telling my story. Telling my story. Talking about it. Living it every day. And doing something with the pain and the trauma and the heartache. This has saved my life. I know it's not for everybody. But if you can find something that you have a passion for, that brings you joy, do it. Do it. Because this shit saved my whole ass life. And get fucking therapy. Because this is not easy. What we've had to overcome is not easy. And not just that, dealing with the fallout of our decisions is horrific. Laying in the bed we made for ourselves is never going to be fun, but that's life. And what's the other alternative? Curl up in a ball and cry? No, we came too far for that shit. We survived too much for that shit. Our babies deserve more from us than that. So be happy and be loud about your recovery and be proud that you fought your way back for your babies, for yourself, for your life. Don't feel guilty. And get yourself some fucking therapy, my girl, because I did. I did all the therapy. I love you. I hope that answered some of your questions.